Welcome to the Prompt Commander AI podcast with Tim and Allan, where AI meets reality. Welcome, everyone, to our first episode of the Prompt Commander podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Allan Dubon. We've been friends for a little bit now. It's been fun to get to know each other and connect. It's been just a fun journey, and now we're doing a podcast together.
Love it.
Tell everybody just a little bit about your background, Allan, because I think it's amazing.
Oh, well, thanks, man. Yeah, excited to be here at Prompt Commander AI Studios. And this has been something we've been talking about for a minute. And so a little bit about me is I've been doing sales, websites, pretty much anything techie nerdy for about 23 years as a business. And I started with just web design and moved into business consulting and a whole bunch of other deliverables like apps and profit not loss analysis and a whole host of things. And then after I've been doing that for a while, I moved into consulting Fortune 100 medical device companies and being able to be part of their sales team and teach their sales team on how to achieve more growth using a consultative selling method versus just taking the order and giving the one thing that they might have asked for. So I love sales. I love business. This is what I immersed myself in, and it's been a really fun journey. And as we keep going through, the podcast episodes, we'll learn a little bit more about each other and also about our guests. But yeah, for me, really, it's helping other business owners and other people to move from their current state into something better. That is what drives me. That is what makes me excited. I love the numbers and the metrics and the wins, but really helping people advance and achieve some more of their goals is what drives me.
I think it's awesome, man, and that's why we've gotten connected. It's been fun just seeing my journey in life, and you know where it's placed me to meet certain people. As you know, just I've been involved in sales for and business development for a long time. I have worked for both HP and Samsung. Being able to be involved in my community has greatly helped me. I can't believe it now. I've been served 2 terms on my city council,
That's
and
awesome,
it's
man.
it's been a fun experience doing that. But I love just how both sides of our journeys have led us to get connected. Um, Allan and I met at man, it's been a while now, just at a networking luncheon. We were both trying to help grow this networking group doing lunches, and I was just looking for someone who knew websites and knew how to um, do things. Ultimately, I picked someone up. I work full time for my chamber of commerce, and ultimately we went with somebody else. But I was so impressed with what Allan was doing that ultimately led us to going into business together. So which is much better than me just buying a website from you, right? Um,
Yeah, no, it was pretty fun. I mean, I remember one of the things that prompted this was AI, and you were talking about keeping your thoughts organized and having, ADD, ADHD, whatever the
just
term of
I
the
just
day
call it
is.
calling it having a scrambled brain.
Right, right. And so, you know, I was just able to show you how I keep track of certain things in AI and then move it over to a different system, but allow that to organize. And you took to AI like a duck to water, man. You just started diving in and then learning
My
so much.
mind blew.
It's been impressive, and I've loved that part. And then taking the things that and amplifying that with AI has been invaluable, man.
How has your experience like in business consulting? How has just AI enhanced that for you on an individual level?
So, really putting in what the customer or the client is looking for, putting in goals, metrics, and then asking it to move that data and compute different outputs based on the piece of that puzzle that I want to see. So, for example, I was just at a franchisee doing a full day consultation, and she asked me, "Okay, so I see this. What if I don't want to give too much away of her secret sauce, but going in there and she says, what if it were X, Y, and Z?" I had already programmed it with what I wanted to give the presentation, so I just went in, sure, let's go change those numbers up, put those in, and it popped right out what she was looking for, what she wanted to make, her metrics, KPIs, all of the things that I had requested were now even more fine tuned than the data I initially started with. And it was minutes, not days and hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've seen. Is it just and it's enhanced getting information, analyzing information. I don't think there's a role that I'm in that I don't utilize it on a daily basis. My my biggest thing, as you know me, but has been relationship building and being a connector in the community. And I'm even amazed how this is just enhancing that. It's made my relationships even better, both on a personal and professional level. In fact, I was just listening to a podcast that talked about AI and networking. And I mean, my big thing is building relationships and building, the whole know, like, and trust thing.
Yeah,
And AI has just even made that even more incredible. And you and I's mission is to help people see this as a tool, not to replace things, which I think has even made relationships even more important now to to validate those relationships and make sure you know that person even better.
100%, man. And to me, this is pretty reticent to when the internet was coming out. You'll hear people, oh, it's the devil, it's evil, it's a fad, it's just for making funny pictures, it's, nothing useful. But yet, here you and I are making money using it as a tool. I mean, we could use it and just make little comic strip funny things, through picture generators and
I've only done that a few times, okay?
right, right. But now we can actually take it and enhance what we're doing in business and make it so that we can help these companies grow at an even faster scale. And that's the part I love, right? Is not just taking it to what we've learned from it and helping ourselves, but rather helping people implement that into their business so that they can in turn grow what they're doing and move forward. I think one of the things that you've talked about with building those relationships and things that we can use this as is, we can have our CRMs and things like that, but if we do a printable or a downloadable CSV file, put it in here, it will make connecting people even faster because now I can say, hey, I have a friend that needs a plumber. Who do I know that's in that space and is near them or has this specialty? And instead of having to dig through my brain or my Rolodex and figure out who that person was, this can pop that right out really quickly. And we all have our phones with us all the time. So just use the mobile app and bust that out.
Yeah, I mean, we have the world at our more than I think we ever did. I mean, you and I both, grew up in the '90s, and uh, this is way even more exciting to me than getting the internet. And
Right.
I mean, I remember those first experiences of getting on. I remember a guy pulled me into his office. I was at a friend's house. His dad's like, come look at this," and I'm like, "What?" And uh, he was pulling up the newspaper and all this kind of cool stuff. And I just remember just feeling mind blown then. But this is taking me back to those feelings, but like times 200, right? Of
Yeah,
what we can
exactly.
do with it. And uh, what that's what really connected us, as we talked about, was how can we be innovative with this? How can we even go and teach younger people how to do this? We're seeing businesses just feeling overwhelmed already falling behind the curve with this. I mean, this is advancing like every day. I mean, even with the release of Grok 3 and all these other things, um, I mean, and you can share your viewpoints on it, but if a business doesn't have someone coming in and consulting with them on this, I think it's really going to throw them even more for a loop.
Yeah, I mean, it's some people have tried to explain this as a catastrophic event, and that's not where we want. We don't want to be fear mongers and do that kind of stuff, but it is
I mean,
definitely
it's not going to
something.
be Terminator, right?
No, not Terminator, at least not yet, right? Maybe later. But the thing is this is one of those things that can hold you back. Now, can old ways still work? Yes. There's people that do exclusively printing newspaper and that's it, and that's an older way, and that's still working for them. But it's where do you want your leverage to be? Where do you want your company to be? Where do you want to be personally? And it from anything from looking for a job and tailoring your resume to that so that it's got those little tweaks that make you stand out to creating big business plans, asking for is it a business plan for your operation, is it a business plan to get a loan, what do you need that tailored to. And I just wrote an email reaching out to a medical device company that I want to help with some marketing stuff. And it wrote it amazing because I've used it so much that it knows what I want to write.
Yeah.
And so I gave it the inputs, did maybe two refinements, and we were on solid ground for that. So it's that, right? It's, hey, can you do without this for a while? Maybe, right? It's not going to be something that changes the world immediately across everybody, but it is changing our world every single day. And, you know, just being able to see the changes that are happening almost on the daily and how it can get stronger, how we can use it better is really something that's captivating me and my attention.
Right. It amazes me every day. I think every day I wake up and there's something new with what's going on in this world. But that's what's driving me more is just to be innovative with it and being able to. I mean, I had a discussion a while ago with a football coach, and we were utilizing AI just to go through player stats
Yeah.
and to set things up for the next game. Like, what does this competition look like? What it could analyze. This podcast I was listening to was a BNI podcast, but they were utilizing it to see which individuals in their networking group they should be connecting with the most, and it was letting them know who those low hanging fruit were of people that they needed to be building relationships with. Um, I just got back from the National League of Cities conference back in Washington D.C., and this was a hot topic of how can a city utilize AI. They're a little timid with it. They've got to be transparent with what they're doing, and I understand that side of it. But we look at things of lowering taxes, making life easier for people, putting more money back into residents' pockets, and this is what's going to do it is utilizing AI in that world and um, not totally taking over. There are going to be some positions that just we can do without, right?
Right.
But man, this is going to enhance people's jobs so much and save. I think businesses, municipalities, any level of government, nonprofits. I'm heavily involved in a nonprofit, and I already starting to see ways that this can enhance. But you talk about old school ways of, yeah, they work. But I was able to sit down with my daughter and do a research project with her, and totally showed her how to use. We were using ChatGPT, and totally showed her how to do her research and then refine it afterwards and make sure that her efforts were put into it. She was still using it as a tool to learn the process.
Right.
This was just doing a lot of the heavy lifting for her.
Exactly. Well, and I think, at one of our events, you said something about your teachers are saying you won't have a calculator in your pocket everywhere you go. And it's like, you're right. We don't. We have a whole computer
I
in
have a
our
whole
pocket.
computer I'm walking around with now.
Calculator is just one small element of that, right? And like you said, teaching kids to survive in the world that is, not necessarily the world that was. I think there is value in learning what we used to do, how we used to do it, why we did it, and continuing to do some of those things, but also pressing forward with the tools that are at the forefront right now. You know, you talked about your daughter doing that. You know, my son Porter comes out to a lot of events, and he runs a lawn mowing company and made his logo, created a small little business plan, you know, started tracking a few things, a few metrics, what he should buy next. You know, should he get a trailer? Should he get a different weed eater? Should he get, you know, that kind of stuff. And with that, now he's gotten some attention in the community, and he started Young Legends Business Academy, where he's teaching other kids
Yeah.
how to run their own business, right? And he's terrified at some points of being in front of the camera, and he's excited at other times. And you know, just showing him that AI avatar of myself that sounds pretty close to me. You know, if you know me, you can tell, you know, you can tell the difference. But anybody that doesn't know me or doesn't listen, you know, for that little bit would not know any different. And
But even
now
then,
he's
it's freeing up your time
right.
and, making even like this podcast, right? This is taking a little bit of time out of our schedule, but, uh, making that video, I mean, you're making that in a fraction of the time, the
Yeah.
editing that goes into it. And I know a lot of people who are fearful of it, like taking away certain aspects, but I'm like, don't be afraid. Just go in and learn this. And Porter's a great example of that.
Yeah.
While there might be some fear and what's going on, and I mean, any young person's life with how this is going to change the world we live in, especially in business, but
Well,
to
for
dive in and learn it,
him getting in front of the camera, making mistakes, stuff like that. Now he can go record this precursor video, and then we can use AI, give it the script of what he wants, and now he's cool, calm, polished, and collected on the video, and now he can make his courses with that. It's still the same information, it's still his face presenting, but we allow AI to do some of that until he gets more comfortable in front of the camera, or maybe he'll never jump back up in front of the camera because this saves him too much time. He has to go record an initial video to give it something to work from, and then allow the AI to do the rest.
right? Well, and this is the discussions we're going to, and I wanted to touch on just what people can expect, moving forward with our podcast. This is going to be the first of many, many podcasts that we're doing out there. And I want to get your take on this as well. But I would love to see us tackle some of these issues. If so, when you're listening to this, if you see like a key issue that you're dealing with in your business, we'll tackle that as a topic on this podcast. We're going to tackle just the world of updates. Things are changing rapidly. Agents are going to change. They are changing the game, right?
Yep.
Quickly now, and Grok is quickly catching up to ChatGPT, and even talking about how you kind of need multiple tools out there. And Alan and I've been heavily researching all the different platforms out there so that we can go into a business and say, "Hey, this is the right tool for you to be using in this area." Um, so excited for just the future of this, and what are some areas that you would like us to tackle moving forward in our podcast?
Well, you know, I'd love to hear from people as well and see what they need, what they want, and essentially come on the podcast and get a free consultation. And you know, let's help more people because you're not the only one having that problem, right? And you know, I'd love to see ways that people are using it creatively, places where they're scared to use it, and maybe even questions on where do I start, right? Like as simple as that, or as complex as how do you do a workflow analysis, you know, and what questions need to be asked, and what are the little you know contingencies that need to be addressed so that you know the output is good, right? So from anything from beginning to let's get real deep in there, I think there's value for everybody in all of that. So yeah, like Tim said, please reach out, let us know what you're thinking of, and if you'd like to be a guest, by all means, let us know.
Yep, we'd love to have you. Great first episode. If you want to learn more about what we're doing, you can go to promptcommander.ai is our website. Be able to find our contact information on there as well. Reach out to us through our social media as well out there. And like Allan said, yeah, let's connect and let's see how we want to find ways that AI can help you, uh,
Exactly.
teach you how to fish, right? And I think that's the best thing out there for anybody to do this so that they can thrive on their own. Thanks for the time, Allan, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Prompt Commander AI podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, shoot us an email at tim@promptcommander.ai. And as always, visit us at promptcommander.ai, where the future isn't coming, it's already here.